I'm Sid, and these are my best friends. My mom, Kim, my dad, Ty, my sister, Maddie, and our salty dog, Stella. We started our adventure refitting a Lagoon 450 before taking on the massive project of resurrecting a sunken 2021 Leopard 50. It's been one heck of a ride, but we're on this adventure to die with memories, not dreams, and live dauntless.
All right, guys, we've got a bunch of really exciting stuff happening today. Well, exciting for us. As you know, we put brand new Yanmar 4JH80s in with some new sail drives and our new props, and all that was great. And she got us all the way down the coast from Georgia here to Fort Pierce, Florida. However, we were having some glitchy issues with this starboard engine while we were coming down, and we couldn't quite figure it out. I just didn't want to start here or start there. I thought I might have a starter problem. And anyway, fast forward, I call a service tech that is Yanmar certified, and I wanted them to come out and take a look at it. But the point of this video, to circle all that in, is if you install your own engines or you do your own work, is it covered under warranty? Yes, you can install all of your own stuff. We installed our own motors, we installed our own sail drives. All of that is not a big deal. And I knew that I could do that. Now, the common chat around the bonfire on the beach is that if you put new engines or you got a new boat and you get your 50-hour service, you really need to contact a Yanmar certified dealer to come out the first time and take a look at all of your stuff to verify that everything was installed properly to maintain your warranty. And I was under the impression for that. Now, I called and got a quote to get that done. And I said I needed new oil changes for 2 engines and 2 sail drives, and I was quoted $1,400. That's a lot. And so I clarified. I said 2 oil changes for 2 engines and 2 sail drives, and he said, no, that's just the engines. So to put this in perspective, folks, there's about 5.5 quarts of oil, 6 quarts of oil if I remember correctly, in each engine, a couple quarts in the sail drives. And the big expensive thing on the first service is replacing the onboard fuel filter, which is $50. So I started doing the math, and for under $200, I can buy all of the factory Yanmar parts and quality oil and do the work myself. So I was a little turned off. I was a lot turned off on $1,400. So I asked, I said, hey, I called the Yanmar dealer and said, if I do my own work, am I going to void my warranty? And they said, absolutely not. As long as you document it, you use Yanmar parts, you're more than in your capability and warranty to do all of your own work. So that's why we do all of our own work. Now, the big exception for that is any major repairs, they're not going to send you guys parts. You're not going to get an alternator. You're not going to get a starter. Or back to our other problem, where I thought my starter was a problem, it wasn't. And they did come out. They did replace the starter, and the damn thing still didn't work. So, after much ado, this stupid computer, there's some relays on the inside here that are not replaceable. And this was causing the engine to just not start. So we've waited for a new one, they've programmed it, and today they're showing up to put it in. So we're gonna show the guys climbing down in there and doing that work, and then I'm not showing any oil change because everybody knows what an oil change looks like. But after he's done, I'm going to change the oil on these engines, and we're going to take it out and do a test run. I wanted to show you where the computer goes and what a new 4JH engine looks like, well, in the daylight here. So the actual ECU plugs into here, and it attaches through some really big connections and wiring harness connections. And the computer is an interesting thing. It doesn't just control how the engine works. It is the memory bank or a giant memory card of anything that's ever happened to that engine. So when you get a warranty replacement, they've got to take the old one out and take all the runtime hours, start stops, any fault codes, all of that stuff transfers into the new computer, which allows any tech in the future to document what's happened to the engine. So no one can go in there and swap stuff out or swap one of these control modules out, which a lot of people think that the monitoring or the odometer, so to speak, is actually built into this. This is actually just a dummy. All this does is tell you what the engine is, what the engine wants you to know. So when you take this control out and swap it over to the other engine, it actually reads the engine hours on the other engine. So when the reason why getting warranty replacement does take quite a bit of time, and it has for us, is, well, supply chain nonsense, but also they've got to take all that information off of our computer, download it, store it, bring the new one in, upload all of it, program it for our specific engine, and then send a tech out. You know, they're crazy efficient, and this engine, man, it just sips fuel. But that's the one thing I don't like about new electronic engines, is that you get all the savings of all the energy consumption, but if shit goes sideways, you just can't use a screwdriver and jump it and start it and run like an old tractor. So that's a little bit of give and take. I'm assuming that all the information from the first time the engine was started has now been programmed into this ECU?
No.
No?
It might be. They might have, because you know, when you fill out, we had to fill out a whole like EPA tier regulation form in order to even get that. So that had the hours on it and all the, you know, like you see, it's tagged with your engine serial number and all that other stuff.
Okay.
So.
So I'm assuming that means that I can't order a spare ECU.
No.
Okay. Well, that sucks.
Cannot. They will not give it to you.
There she is. We got a dead battery?
Oh, well, that'd be why.
What's wrong?
I guess I had the wire off over here and I never put it back on. What the fuck now?
What? It should turn over at 12.3. That's the same shit it was doing before, Matt.
Sort of. Wouldn't even get no click last time.
Yeah, it was a click or a thunk or whatever the hell you want to call it.
I can't monitor it from here.
Can't monitor or what?
Can't monitor battery voltage because the display drops out. I don't know what it's doing.
Do we want to put the battery charger?
Let me throw it. I got a rapid charger. You want to throw that on there? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you grab it, Kim. All right. So, I'm showing 12.5 volts on this at the battery, and a 15 amp rapid charger. Take it a second to assess it before it kicks on. Well, I don't know what's happening, but new computer went in. There's a new starter in on the engine, and it's still doing roughly the same thing it was before. It's kicking over like there's a low battery, but we've got a charger on it. We've got adequate voltage, and we're just stumped. Everything should be working the way it should, as intended. But right now, there's something in the engine that we can't quite figure out what's going on, that it just refuses to kick over and start. So, I don't know. Give you an update here in a few, but we'll see as he goes through the troubleshooting process to find out what goes on. Maybe we'll come up with something, hopefully today. But I was really hoping to start that engine. What's the word?
I'm just jumping right now.
But it's not throwing a check engine.
No. I got it. I'm jumped right now.
Oh, you're jump starting it?
We don't want to start. Right.
Is that continuity kicking in and out?
Yes.
What the fuck?
That's the ground for the relay.
Are you fucking kidding me? The starter relay ground is internally tied inside the ECM, and when we go to try to start it, he's testing continuity on the ground, and the ground is kicking in and out and in and out and in and out as it starts, which means that that connection is being interrupted inside the computer. It's not a case ground, which means it's not a ground wire that just grounds to the case to make sure you have a complete circuit through the battery. It's actually inside the electronics of the system, and possibly it might be through the brand new computer that we just installed.
Just fucking put on.
Well, that sucks ass.
It does.
But it is what it is. Either works or it doesn't. So there's.
Well, I've already got a call on them dudes over there already for something else from this morning before I left, so I'm waiting for him to call me back on that one. So I'll catch yours while I have one to call me.
Me. So, brand new parts don't always solve the problem, and not always. And there's I'm glad I bought a new motor with warranty because this shit would, what it would cost me to have Matt out here fixing this and troubleshooting this hours on end and back and forth and new ECUs would have totaled thousands. So buy nicer, buy twice, I guess. And so we made the right decision to buy new engines. I still think they make a great engine. I just think that sometimes shit happens and you get a lemon in the bunch. And I was really looking for apple juice, not lemonade. So.
I can honestly say I have not done a whole lot of ECMs for these guys yet, but the few that I have done, I've done like 6 or 7 now.
Yeah.
And they've been from lightning strike shit.
Yep.
Not equipment failure.
Well, the fact of the matter is that if you haven't done a whole lot of them,
I've never had this.
it means it's a rare problem.
It is a rare problem.
Okay. This battery was a skosh low just because we were doing some testing and starting on it. But recap. New starter doesn't solve the problem. Bad computer, some relay in the actual computer. So to troubleshoot this, because we've got 2 engines, we actually swapped the controls on a previous visit, both computers, everything back and forth. There's nothing wrong with the engine whatsoever. It's completely isolated to the computer and to its internal components. And we know that, of course, again, because we used that computer to start this engine and there was no problem. So we got a new engine programmed. Yanmar does not allow any of their dealers or distributors to program their stuff. It's only programmed apparently by Yanmar factory personnel. It's taken us 2.5 months to get one. And the damn computer is throwing the exact same code that the first one was throwing. So we don't understand. And we've done troubleshooting round and round and round, but I would thought that if something was wrong with the motor, that if we put the other computer on, that it would damage that ECU, and that is not the case. So we have got a rare circumstance that a Yanmar ECU has gone out, which is extremely rare, and that the 2 of them that we've gotten have the exact same problem. So I'm done rant over. We'll wait to see what's going to happen and what Yanmar says, and then when they can get us a new one, and we'll fill you in later. But until now, we're kind of dead in the water. I can go down and physically use a screwdriver and jump the engine to start it. I cannot use the controls to do that. So if we have to move the boat in case of emergency, that's possible. But the problem is not solved. And now at this point, I'm very happy that I've got a warranty.
So they took the original ECU back. They left the replacement ECU on this motor.
So we can move the boat.
So we can move the boat if we have to, but ideally we don't want to move it at all until we solve this problem.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter one way or the other. Moving the boat isn't going to hurt it, but I just want the boat fixed before we start moving. And the 45 is going to be gone shortly, and we need to start working on this boat, and we need to get it down the canal to a dock that's got some power on it so we can run some tools. And I want to be able to do that under its own power, fixed and ready to move forward. So it is what it is. The joys of waiting for parts. But our dealer's been great. I can't knock the dealer at all. They've done everything they've said they were going to do. They showed up when they said they were going to show up, and they have gone to exhaustive lengths to try to make everything work with what they've got. And it's just out of their hands. So we're waiting on Yanmar.